you ever wondered who the first divorced or the first active president was? If so, kindly listen to this speech. Hi, I'm Ronald Reagan. I was born in Tampico, Illinois on February 6, 1911 to Nell and Jack Reagan. As a boy, my days were spent walking along shores pretending I was a fur trapper from long ago. Sometimes my father would get drunk and lose his job. When this happened, my family would move. So my older brother Neil and I were always the new boys on the block. I lived very non-socially in childhood, but Neil always made friends quickly. One day when I was 11 years old, I came home and found my father unconscious on the front porch because he had gotten drunk. After high school, I was one of the very few graduates to go on to college, but my family didn't have the money, so I met with the president of Eureka College and got a scholarship. I enrolled in 1928 and made money as a lifeguard that saved 27 lives and washing dishes in the fraternity. After I graduated in 1932, I became a radio announcer in Des Moines, Iowa. In 1940, I made my first movie entitled Newt Rockne, All-American. On the set of the movie Brother Rat, I met actress Jane Wyman. We married in 1940 and had our daughter, Maureen, and adopted our son, Michael. In 1948, we divorced because we couldn't spend enough time together. In 1951, I made the successful movie Bedtime for Bonzo. It is about a teacher who gets a chimpanzee and teaches it manners. Then a friend introduced me to Nancy Davis. On our first date, we stayed out till 3 in the morning. We married in 1952 and had 2 more children, Patty and Ronald Jr. In 1964, I was asked to give a campaign speech for Republican presidential candidate Barry Goldwater, who unfortunately lost to Lyndon Johnson. Then one time, some people came to my house asking me to run for governor of California. I ran against Pat Brown in 1966. Pat Brown had no idea that anyone would vote for an actor. To scare voters from me, he said, "Remember, an actor shot Lincoln." I defeated Pat Brown and won re-election in 1970. When I ran for president in 1976, I lost and endorsed candidate Gerald Ford, who also lost. When I ran again in 1980, I defeated Jimmy Carter in a landslide. Then on March 30th, 1981, I was shot by John Hinckley. He said later that he did this to impress actress Jodie Foster. Then he was thought insane and put in a mental hospital. When Nancy saw me after this incident, I said jokingly, "Honey, I forgot to duck." Just after my inauguration, I was given a card with codes that would launch nuclear missiles to enemy countries like the Soviet Union. This would kill 150 million people. It was called MAD, for Mutual Assured Destruction. I did not launch these missiles. Instead, I developed a program that could defend us from them called SDI, for Strategic Defense Initiative. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union had a new leader, Mikhail Gorbachev. He knew that the Soviet Union was in economic and social turmoil. At the end of World War II, West and East Germany were divided by the Berlin Wall running through, well, you guessed it, Berlin. People were divided by beliefs with this wall, and nobody was friendly with each other. I gave a speech there in 1987 saying in my speech, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." It was taken down after that, and I was sent a 6,000-pound piece of it as a thank you. It is seen today in California at the Reagan Presidential Library. Largely due to my policies, the Soviet Union ceased to exist in December 1991. When I took office, the economy was in shambles. I cut taxes, and this resulted in excellent economic prosperity. After my presidency ended, I returned to California and spent most of my days horseback riding with Nancy. And in 1994, when I was 83, I got the news that I had Alzheimer's disease. In the time before my death, my memory would fade away. I would not recognize any of my family. When I got this disease, I wrote a goodbye letter to the country saying I had Alzheimer's and thanked them for letting me serve as governor and then president. When I died on June 5th, 2004, I was given a state funeral in Washington, D.C. Many other world leaders came and gave their respects. I had lived longer than any president, 93 years old. Thank you for coming to my speech.